So if we're being honest, how hard is it raising an adult child with special needs? No holdbacks.
No holdbacks? You want like a meter from like
Yeah, no.
1 to 10?
10 being the hardest, 1 being the easiest.
I would say like a 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say like a 7.
Was it harder starting off as a child or as an adult?
That's what I was gonna say. So, as a child, if you would have asked me what was the meter from childhood, I would say probably a 9.99. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Anybody else know what I'm talking about?
Before we get into the subject, I see you have this this beautiful head wrap from India. Or from for the motherland.
All right, let's go there.
What's up with the head wrap?
You don't like the head wrap? Anyway,
I actually,
he's not even like that, so we're not.
No. I actually think head wraps are dope.
Okay.
I think when Erica Badu first started making them,
That was like my thing.
she made them like, yo, women should be doing this,
Yep.
and women did. What's up with it?
I went through that phase. So transparent moment. Like, I went through the whole big chop a year ago, where I went from.
Was it a year or 2?
It was a year ago. Well, it would have been a year. This October made a year that I had did the big chop.
Oh, so you passed the year.
Yeah, I passed a year. So I did the big chop after I let my relaxer grow out, and it was my first time, like, seeing my hair, like, in its natural state. After, I think I've had a relaxer since I was like 8. Okay, and so.
Dang.
Yeah. The damage is probably done by now. Like, if there's a connection with creamy crack, the damage has been done. You know, it's just a prayer of grace at this point. So, but I was really trying it. You know, like, one of my best friends, you know, she's a big proponent of natural hair, and there was so many women that I was meeting also that I was like, I really like their curls. You know, so I'm gonna try it. So I tried it. Long story short, it lasted for like. I don't know. How long did I last? I lasted doing all the natural hair, testing the products, going to the natural salons to get all this stuff.
You also were going natural while going through one of the biggest transitions
of our life.
Yeah, so
that was hard because, like, I don't care what anybody says, it takes more time to tend to your natural hair than when you have relaxed hair.
Unless it's like locks or something.
Okay, because you can do 1,000 quick ponytail styles, whatever, when you got relaxed hair.
Not natural.
So I decided to go back to the creamy crack. I decided when we first moved.
Wait, go back to where you went to the salon and you cut it.
Yep.
And you liked it for like an hour.
I liked it.
And then you changed it the next day.
Okay, so what happened is I liked it, but then they told me you need a color.
Why?
They were like, it'll make it pop, you know, make your curls, you know, pop.
Then you go red or burgundy?
I did. I went red.
Okay.
And I've always known this about my hair, though. My hair could never take
the dye.
Dye.
Okay.
And I was like, well, maybe because it's natural, it'll be different. But nope, it made it so brittle and fragile. It was like my hair was not in a good place. So I had to start over. So then I shaved it again. You remember that?
When was the second time you shaved it after that?
I can't remember, but I shaved off the dye, and then it grew back. I went with braids and stuff.
Yep.
And then it grew back, and I had like maybe a good 2 inches, and I was like, I'm going back to my little pixie cut. I'm gonna go get me some creamy crack.
So what was the reason behind the natural and then the fight to go back to the chemicals?
No, that was the reason. The reason was I was just tired of I was not feeling it. I did not like my curl pattern. I didn't like I have like weak ends on my hair, like around my crown. Like, it was just like a thing for me. And it had always been a thing for me.
That was one of your deepest confessions when we first met.
Yes. I was like, babe, like, your girl got some weak edges. Like,
wait. I'm sitting here like, I got something to tell you. And I'm like,
You thought I have.
No, I was like,
You thought I had 3 breasts?
no, I was like, I know Jimmy didn't cheat, and I was like, she's not pregnant.
Yo, we're being transparent
Yeah,
today, huh?
I was like, she's not pregnant, so I'm like,
Hey,
what? I'm like,
how can I be pregnant? What are
no,
you
that's
talking
what I'm thinking. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
what? Because she was like, it's something that's like really dear to my heart, and I'm like, what could it be that she's stalling at this much? And then when she said it, I was just like, okay.
Yeah. So with that, I was just not feeling it. I wasn't feeling how my hair looked. I wasn't feeling confident. And I had already gone through. That's another episode. Like after having children, and having a daughter in my 40s, my confidence got hit big time. We should talk about that
In what
one day,
way?
ladies. Like, cause when I had Anaya, this is 20 years ago, I snapped back. Like my snapback was like boom.
Yeah, 20
but
years ago, yeah.
having a child in your 40s, no, you have to be really intentional. I believe, not for everybody, because there's some people that snap right back.
The Janet
but
Jacksons?
I guess, but that was not my story, and it hit my confidence. I didn't realize that until recently. But
So the hair,
the hair was always like my crown and
hair-
glory. Like honestly,
Oh, okay.
like that was always my thing. Like it was a point in my life where I actually had to subject my hair. It became like an idol to me in my early 20s. It was like my hair dictated how I felt for the day. If my hair wasn't right, it would make I wouldn't get dressed. It was crazy. But I think in hindsight, I know that was something God was actually doing in me too. And you never know, sometimes the stuff that you think that you address like by cutting its head off, but not like getting to the root of the matter.
not cutting the head off.
No, I cut the head off.
Cutting
right?
the braid off.
But
Pun
anyway,
intended.
so me with I basically I went and got the creamy crack again, and the lady, I knew when she did it, I knew she overprocessed my hair because my hair was on fire, and when she like rinsed my hair out, my hair was so straight. It was like meshed to my scalp. It was so bad. I was like, oh my God, what have I done? And I know once you overprocess hair, it's not coming back. Like it dies. Literally, the hair dies. And you can try to get it healthy again. It doesn't work. It ends up needing to be cut off. And that's when I was like, enough. So I went to the hair salon, got it cut down as much as possible.
Recently, right?
Went to an amazing hair salon. They tried their level best, but they knew, girl, this hair is not gonna
What was that?
make
So the night before, I was like, all right, you about to cut your hair. What are you feeling? You're like, whatever.
I was actually whatever. I was whatever when they cut it off too, but I was just like, yo, what am I gonna do? Because like literally my hair looks like Drew's hair. Like
So, dang!
bang, bang.
So here's something that I always told Jamaica. For years, I was like, yo, just cut it and get waves.
Yes, now he's been my biggest push of like, yo, I like it. It's good. And I'm like,
I like the braids because you don't have to do anything, so you just move different. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
But I noticed when you do have hair, you could almost feel like, what am I gonna do with my hair today?
Yeah.
And then that dictates what you wear, how you feel.
Yeah.
But I've always said, either get locks,
Yep.
get the I don't know what they call it, the not fro locks, fox or something like that. Where ladies can put like extensions until it grows.
Yeah.
That, or I was like, just get waves.
Yeah, so we're in between. So I don't wear the scarf all the time. I do have different scarves that I end up putting on, but right now I'm in
You
like
should just get a scarf brand. I'm so serious. I'm so
you
serious.
and these businesses. Okay, so
Yo, it's not a business.
I don't wear the scarves all the time. Let me just say that. I don't.
How many of y'all, if you saw a sawabona scarf, you wouldn't get it?
Okay. Oh, that's dope. I'm just saying. Okay. But I'm just saying, sawabona is I see you in all of the fullness of your existence. Okay?
Exactly. And
So,
women, when they're hearing that right, they try to hide.
yes. That's good. Come on here.
That's it.
Listen, we copywriting it right now because we on the video. Don't try to take our
If you
idea.
can do scarves, let us know.
Yeah, but don't make it without us, okay? But
And
anyway.
if you make it without us, I'm praying that the Lord will shut you down.
Hey, come on. Don't do all that. That's witchcraft. Okay, so That's what happened. So I am in the process of that, figuring out what I want to do. Okay. I'm sorry. Um, I brought a lace front wig, which was like my homegirl. Shout out to my homegirl Shantae.
Shout out to Tay.
Yo, and she put it on for me. I was mad nervous. She got me hooked up. I liked it. It was just a different look for me.
Wait. So we were at the hair store last week. Was it last week, right?
Yeah, it was last week.
And good thing you stopped the guy and was like, so how do we put this thing on? He's like,
you don't know how to put it on?
Like, no, Jermaine. That's why. Do you know how to put it on? The way he didn't know what he was doing, so he was like, yeah, you just do this, do that. And he just yells and calls this girl over.
Yeah, and the girl was telling me, just put this on, spray and lay it. I'm like, no, I'm not trying to be out here like I see some folk where the lace is all over their eyebrow. I'm not trying to do that.
And
I need somebody to do this right.
Ashy.
And God will always send a ram in the bush. I was like, yo, I'm about to call Tay because I know she could help me.
So you brought it, and then okay.
And then I went over her house and she put it on for me. And I liked it. It was just different. I was just like, oh my God, everybody's going to be staring at this lace front.
So on the flip side, as the husband seeing all of this, I'm just like,
you didn't even get to see the lace front.
I didn't get to see the lace front.
I'm gonna bring it with me on our trip.
I'm a proponent of, wave it.
I don't have waves. I cannot wave it yet.
Can.
My hair is literally that small.
This is the perfect.
For short.
Shorter than this is actually better to start. Seriously.
Really?
And just wave it and rock it.
Okay, this is not what this episode is about. It was not about.
All right, so we're talking about.
Made us go all the way left.
We're talking about the difficulties of raising a child adult with special needs, and we're not trying to sugarcoat. We know children are a blessing from the Lord. Like, we know those things, but we also know that most people who raise children with special needs never get a chance to really say what they want to say, because they're scared somebody's going to be like, you should be lucky. That's not what that's about. So you said before, it's a 7 raising an adult
child with special needs.
9.5 raising the child. Is it because you know so much about the child by the time they're an adult?
No, I think we got to give context too. Okay, so we have an amazing, awesome, creative, just innovative 20-year-old daughter who was diagnosed on the autism spectrum at the age of 3. And she has done marvelous things. She's a graduate of an amazing culinary institute, nationally renowned institute, college, has her associate degree, and is living and thriving to pursue her best life, right? And so also, this is not cookie cutter. Anybody who has ever had a family member, we say special needs. I always say unique abilities, or neurodiversities, because we all have different ways of thinking about things. But when it's not atypical, it gets put in like this box, right? And so I just put it in the box for like context sake, for understanding sake, social kind of grasping sake. And so, so I used 9 as a child because you're afraid. Like, I was a single mom. Like, her dad was in her life, but we lived in 2 different states. So I was her primary caregiver, and she did not speak until she was 3, or not even. She didn't speak until she was about 4. And she showed a lot of signs that were very hard with trying to acclimate her into like this existing world. Because it's like a lot of times you have this pattern, right? You just go after the pattern that you went after. You went to school at pre-K, they go to school at pre-K. You went to school, you went to kindergarten, you went to after school, they go to after school. You start like mimicking the life that you kind of grew up in until somebody tells you otherwise and shows you another way, and you make a different choice. So I'm trying to put her into these boxes, and she's not fitting into these boxes, right? Like, she's not speaking, she's afraid of people, she's giving no eye contact, she's stimming, she's doing things that I didn't even know about autism until they told me about autism. Like, I didn't have a compass of what autism was. And I actually have people in my family who have autism, but I think they're not diagnosed. Like, so it's like, Oh, you know how you ever have people in your family or like, yeah, people in your family where you're like, everybody just says, oh, that's just Ricky, whatever.
Yeah.
That's just Ricky. And it's like, oh, okay. And then when you get older, you get more knowledge and you're like, yeah, Ricky was probably on the spectrum and nobody did anything or didn't know to do anything. And so
or
Ricky.
scared to think.
Right.
Something's wrong.
So,
something's wrong with me.
Right. And so Ricky has had a hard time in adulthood life. And everybody's not doing nothing about it. They just like, yeah, Ricky still live at home. You know what I'm saying? Ricky is 50 and don't do this, X, Y, and Z. So I say all that to say that's why I would say a 9 as raising a child with unique abilities or special needs child, because you tend to learn everything in real time with the very one you love. Like when I got pregnant with Anaya, it wasn't the most fantasy or the most ideal situation, but like I loved her tremendously. Like I was in love with her. I was like, oh my God, I love this baby. I'm gonna do everything for her. And I was in love with her from the moment I found out I was having her. So,
which is usually not the case.
When you find out, oh no, I knew. Like I was just like, yeah, I knew she was not an accident. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so, to know that you love a child that much, and then you're having these challenges, like. There were things I just didn't understand. She would cry all the time. She cried when she was a baby. She slept like maybe 2 hours or something like that. 3 hours the most, like until she was like almost 2. Dang. So and I was working, I was going to school. Like I was like, why isn't this child complying with the plan? Like she's supposed to go to kindergarten, you know what I'm saying? She's supposed to go to the daycare and then go from the daycare and they were like, girl, something's going on. So that's why I have that contrast of you kind of get dumped into it versus as an adult.
So you weren't saved when you found out she had autism?
No.
Okay, so I was gonna say, what do you do with God and you when you find out something, or what did you feel like when you find out she has autism? Do you like blame God or do you just like take it on the chin?
Well, actually, okay, so when you define saved, I think of it as literally giving my life to the Lord, baptized in the Holy Spirit, right? Knowing that I'm filled with His Spirit. That didn't happen for me until she was about 5. But I had given my life to God as far as like a prayer of salvation at church when I was 14. Like I was like, yeah, I believe what they're saying. Like, and I felt it in my heart too. So I had a knowledge base of like the scriptures and like the church environment. So when I found out I was having Anaya, and then I found out her diagnosis, I didn't know her diagnosis until she was 3, but I knew when I was pregnant with her, they had given me they were like, something's wrong with the baby. And so from that point, I remember, and I've written it in my book and I've testified of it.
What's the book name?
The book is called I'm Strong, Bold, Beautiful, and Free by Jamaica Cost. And, which is a memoir of my life from the age of 8 to 30. And so I knew enough that when they told me something was wrong with her when I was pregnant, they had given me the option to have an abortion. I was like 6 months pregnant.
Damn.
Yeah, and I actually
I'm acting mad surprised because I'll tell you guys.
I was actually in Georgia, which they allowed for that type of termination at that level when you had complications. So if I would have been Connecticut, it would not have been even an option. But I was in Georgia at that time, and I had fasted because they told me come back, think about it for a week, and then you got only a week to come back and decide, because if it goes past this, you can't do anything. And I was like, I love this baby, like this cannot be. So I fasted. And I'm 6 months pregnant. I fasted. I only had one meal a day, and I ate crackers and water the rest of the day. And I prayed, because that was the only thing I had remembered to do. And I had, I'll never forget it. I went back that week after, and I didn't have anybody. So I told people about it, like my family, but I didn't have anybody to like spiritually guide me through it.
How important is is that because I think someone saying that they're there for you and just like hearing you talk or just being there presently is good. But how important with a decision that big would spiritual guidance have been if you had it?
I think it would have been really crucial. I would think I was kind of like irresponsible in a sense. I mean, in doing crackers and water for like the whole day except for one meal, being 6 months pregnant. I mean, nothing happened to the baby, but I just was like, I got to sacrifice something. If I might have said that to somebody, they might have been like, okay, baby, like
Let's sacrifice
sweets
or
right,
something.
They might
not
have given
necessarily...
me something else and said, like, no, God will hear you or whatever. They might have given me more guidance. But either way, he totally moved. He turned that thing. Like I went back to the doctor a week later, and they saw she didn't have a nose. That's what it was. It was an indicator of Down syndrome. And so, did I tell you this? Okay. I'm like, dang, man.
I'm interviewing her. One second. Aaliyah.
And when I went back to the ultrasound for them to check and for me to make that decision, the technician like totally bypassed it and just did the ultrasound and was just like, all right, you're good to go. You'll see the doctor in a minute. And I'm like, but wait, what about her nose? And she was like, oh, her nose is right here. She didn't read the chart, so she didn't know what I was coming in for. So I'm like, oh, so I'm screaming like, oh my God, you know? And she's surprised and she's like, oh, I done missed something. And the doctor came in and was just like, yeah, I don't know if it was an error in the shots or the water, and there was water on her neck. There was no water on her neck. There was a nose, and she was like, everything looks fine. So I was like, wow, God. So I think that was also a defining moment. And then her to come out, and then 3 years later, I realized that she has autism.
What would it have been if you found out she had autism before she came out?
I wonder. I have no idea. Like, I also didn't recognize, honestly, I didn't recognize that autism was a spectrum. Like, because I thought when they told me she had autism, I was like, no, she doesn't. Because in my mind, it was like certain levels of autism. Like, and the only level of autism I knew was the most extreme.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's not it. And they were like, they had to teach me about the spectrum. And I remember I had an amazing doctor. Shout out to Dr. Deepa in Connecticut. She like told me, she was like, she broke it down for me so plainly. And she just basically told me like, she's going to be okay. You're going to have to just do some things to help her to kind of assimilate to this world system that we live in.
Okay, so with that, all right, so like you find this out when she's 3, you get the information from the doctor. How do you start navigating her life where now I have to navigate this person's life already, which raising a kid in general is already a challenge. Raising a kid with autism and the world where the world always teaches for the kid with autism to adjust to everybody else, not us. Adjust to them.
Yeah. You said, how do I teach that?
Yeah, how do you struggle with that as you're going from like 3 to 4 to 5 and so on?
Well, okay, so Anaya's always been, sorry, that's her name. She's always been, she's always hit these milestones. Like, it took hard work and she's done the work to hit the milestone. So I always knew like every 3 years I would be like holding my breath for like, all right, where are we? You know what I'm saying? You go through elementary, you go through middle school. She will always hit these points, but it was not without hard work. She went through a lot of therapy. She went through a lot of like ABA therapy, speech, all of that. She did all of those things. And she went through regular like school systems. Like she had certain IEP plans in school, but she was in her classes and she was doing other things. So I noticed how strong she was, and I noticed how she wanted to like acclimate, how hard she wanted to like be, lack of a better term, like feel normalized, like not feel ostracized within her peer groups and stuff like that. And so I tried my hardest to make sure that I helped her do that because I saw how much she wanted it. So I think her drive also helped me when I was just exhausted. Like, because I'm sitting here still trying to do my life. Let's just be clear. Like, that's a part that I want to encourage a lot of single mothers is, listen, your life is not your own once you have your children.
Autism or not.
Autism or not. And once you realize that, that's why I'm like, I want young women to be thoughtful about when they have children. Because I want you to know, like, the true responsibility, whether you want it or not, is that your life is not your own anymore.
Or before you have sex.
Yeah.
Because that's going to, you know, part of the raising a kid with autism is the person you raise a kid with. Is that help? Is that, yeah, all that comes into the factor of how hard is this journey going to be? Yeah,
because that's another piece. Like, because you don't think all of that though. Like, especially like I was 25. I was a little bit more older than a lot of people that are having kids, honestly. But I did not think all of that. Like, I have to co-parent with somebody. I didn't think about like special needs. I didn't think about none of that. I was just like, oh, it's fine. People have kids every day without being married and not being together. So we'll just do the whole thing like I grew up. Like, weekends every 2 weeks. You go with your dad on the weekend. But that was not the case, especially when you have a special needs child. This is a point that I want to kind of plug into. A special needs child or a unique ability child, they don't go by the milestones most times that we come up with in our minds. And a lot of times within our communities, just being honest, we're like 18, peace out. You got this now.
Never a good idea.
And that's not a good idea for a atypical child, because when they're 18, it's just beginning. Like, for us to cut the string to 18, I think is very irresponsible of us as parents. Now, setting up parameters and boundaries.
Don't wait, because somebody gonna yell and be like, I did it. Yeah, but even scientifically, they talk about your frontal lobe, like your ability to make decisions, doesn't form until you're 26.
Wow.
So to be trying to make real big life decisions before 26, it could happen, but you have to realize what type of anxiety is that person having to do these things. So imagine having a kid before 26. You're still a kid really in your brain to be doing it, let alone single.
Right. And so you still need your parents. You still need guidance. You still need advice. And you might still need a roof over your head. Like, let's just, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, cats be like, oh, they got to get out. Like, and I'm like, no, like, don't do that to your kids. But anyway, so your typical 20, so we have a 20-year-old. It's not a typical 20-year-old, right? But it could be a typical 20-year-old. You know what I'm saying?
What's the defining moment of, would they be a typical 20-year-old or not?
So I think that's hard, and I don't want to like stereotype. And I only have the sum total of like my own experiences to like share and contrast to. So I just think about me at 20, or I think about like some common things that are happening at 20. Like, I see a lot of kids at 20 or like 21, like they're driving. They are like looking at college or careers. They might be into fashion or whatever. They're finding like who they are. So you start finding girls like they got lace fronts and makeup and whatever the trend is, and the guys are, you know, got the Cartiers and all this stuff. And I know I'm stereotyping, but I'm just giving like examples of a lot of what you see, particularly in our culture, of young people in their 20s. They look like what you see in the music videos and stuff. I'm just saying. Or some of them look like these professionals, you know, if they go to college and stuff. And so they're kind of starting to they start smelling themselves. And with our daughter, I don't necessarily feel her smelling herself. No. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I say smelling yourself, meaning like
feeling yourself.
You feeling yourself. You know, she's not. She's kind of like, yeah, all right, what's next? You're like, you know what I mean?
She's the opposite.
She's the total opposite. She's kind of like,
she's the opposite, where
if it's clean, it goes, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, but we love that. I mean, it's hard though. I've learned I had to let go, honestly. And my daughter and I, we had this conversation not too long ago where like I told her I had to come face to face with like, stop trying to create a mini me. Cause she told me, she's like, I am not you. Like some of the things that you think I should be doing, they kind of resemble you.
Some of it is just, some of that is also too like, these things you have to do. Mm-hmm. Some of it may be like, yeah, okay, it's maybe a choice if you wear sneakers or heels. That's a choice. Mm-hmm. Some things is like, no, you have to. You have to do that.
That's the thing I've learned with an adult that's neurodiverse, like to learn what's your fighting point and what's your let it go. Like, and your let it go is going to be more than your fighting point. Seriously, because otherwise you'll be constantly redirecting.
Give an example so people don't understand.
I'm going to give an example, but yet protecting her privacy.
I got an example that protects both.
Okay.
So you may want to see her dresses and heels every now and then.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Yep.
She's like, I'm wearing sneakers.
Yep.
Not with an attitude, but like, I like sneakers. Mm-hmm. If they're comfortable, we don't care how they look.
Right.
And we may be like, I was one year for her around her birthday. It was actually the first pair of Jordans I bought in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. And I had wore them. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, Junk, if she like Jordans, like, we'll get her some Jordans for something like that. And she was like, oh, I only wore them because I couldn't find mine. And I'm thinking like, I was like, oh, you didn't wear them because they look good? She was like,
yeah, she is not into the whole like, I need the latest Jordans, I need that. She's all about comfort, fabric, and accessible, clean and accessible. You know what I'm saying? So like when we're going to if we're going to take family pictures, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, everybody's going to be in black. I come out, I got my little black sweater on with my little brooch and everything with my heels. And she come out with, you know what I'm saying? The black hoodie. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that.
But you know what? You don't want her to do that because sometimes we all struggle with how we look on the outside to somebody else. Because if somebody sees Jamaica with the brooch on in the family picture, and we're like, why Jamaica ain't get her a good shirt? You be like, I did.
Yep.
She chose the hoodie.
Yep.
I would like, it's like kind of, you know, I've seen some JCPenney pictures and people would be joking.
Yeah.
I wonder like if we started normalizing, not just us, but like people started normalizing like, this is what my family is.
Yeah.
Do we love each other? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Are we helping each other? Yeah, then that's really all that's going to matter at the end of the day.
Yeah. You know, that's funny because, like, that's another plug-in because you can't do it a lot of times without a village. And now your village might be really close or they might be a little bit further out. Like, you know, like if you really get into a bind, you can call on folks. But when you're a special needs mom, like if you have a village or dad, if you have a village that can help support you and not wait, and I can't stand this, I'm sorry, no offense, but like when people have losses or when they have special needs children or something like that, do not call them and tell them, if you need me, call me.
Because just find a way to show up.
Find a way to show up.
They're not going to call
because they're not going to call you. Especially like in our culture, like we have unfortunately built these areas and barriers that make us feel like we got to be able to do it on our own, whether we say it or not. And so they're not going to call you. But do it anyways. Like, do something. If you can bring the food, drop the food off. If you can pick up from the school once a week, go offer to do that. Don't try to get their mind to come up with how you can help them when their mind is already strained. Yeah. Their mind, you're asking them to come up with how you can help them, and it's like, I don't even have a breath to be able to think, right? I don't even have a moment. I am so exhausted. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just a plug for like friends and family. Like if you really know that you have a friend or a loved one that has a special needs child, don't wait for them to inform you. That so when family,
you know
what I'm saying? And then like educate yourself about what they're dealing with as well. The greatest thing you could do is to ask them like, how can I help? Like, or What are the things that let them talk through what they heard about their child's diagnosis or something like that with family, and not for judgment. Because the moment that you say something like, why do she have on that ugly sweater and y'all got on this? Yo, those are the moments that I'll be wanting to snap off on somebody and lose my salvation, because I'm like, y'all have no idea what it took to even get her here.
It took a while to put the hoodie on.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, be mindful. Like, be slow to speak and quick to hear. And when I say that, that just means, like, people will say the strangest things. I mean, I've got comments from family and stuff in the past where I'm like, oh yeah, she owns 5 pairs of sneakers. Why she keeps putting on the same sneaker that is run over and downtrodden, the other ones are in the box brand new? I can't tell you. I can't tell you if it's associated with autism or not. But what I'm going to tell you is, don't come for me when I have worked diligently to go above and beyond.
So that's something. Should parents that have kids on the spectrum, of course, I mean in general, but kids on the spectrum, how can they stand up for themselves without burning bridges?
How can parents stand up for themselves without burning bridges? I think that, and this is something I've actually been doing work on, because truth be told, we had this conversation, like, I do disassociate sometimes. I don't disassociate with like psychosis, where I know where I am, but it's a trauma response for me that I'm just recently learning about. It's not a superpower, but
you tried to teach me it one time.
I know, right? I'm like, just zone out, babe. Just go ahead and go into your own place. Like, whenever the kids are loud and they're arguing or they're rowdy, just go into your own place. And you're like, what? I'm not doing that.
What if I don't come back?
I'm like, oh, don't worry. Somebody will get you back. But I say that to say, like, when I know I can disassociate, I know I can be quiet and it seems like I'm with you, but it's me grounding myself and not addressing you. And so me dealing with not succumbing to disassociation and being present and standing up and saying, like, no, I don't like what you just said. Let me tell you what you just said, how that makes me feel and how I interpret that. That takes more work than disassociating or being quiet to keep peace. Because while you keeping peace, they out here creating storms because they saying what they want to say. And I've always kind of been like that, honestly. Like, I have tended to be the peacemaker. And a lot of times my peacemaking was in the absence of my voice.
That is
yeah.
Usually when people part of my Bible study for the last couple days is what makes a person lose their voice, and it's usually at the sake of, let me keep peace. But then you don't keep peace because you create internal war within yourself.
Right.
Because you're like, how can they get to be free and I can't? And it's like, maybe because you don't stand up for yourself. Like, I think a parent with a kid with special needs, I almost just like, I want to give them more grace. Because it's like, no one can feel the complexities you deal with from the outside. They can only imagine. Like, so I came into Naya's life when she was 12. So I'm thinking, like, I've always thought, like, how did Jamaica do this from 0 to 12?
Yeah.
Alone, like, I know people that probably be like, I was there. I'm talking about living with the person every day.
Yeah. But also, just being candid too, if you are courting, for, you know, that term is utilized like within the Christian community a lot of times. Like, if you are like dating unto marriage, like you have an interest, male or female, and you already have children, because that's very common, like especially if you're getting married or courting older in life, not like in your early 20s or whatever, right? If you have children that have special needs, it is so important for you not to lie by omission. Thank you. Because that, I believe, I probably lie by omission. Let me not say probably. I'm gonna be honest.
Set your boy up, man.
You can handle it, man. You can handle it, man of God. Man of God.
Many nights. I was like,
no. Let me explain. Let me explain. Okay. when you have a child, especially when it's not as, when you have a child that has any unique needs, especially when they're younger, and it's not as evident, because that's what people used to say to me too, very ignorantly. They'd be like, she does not have autism. She doesn't look like she has autism.
They didn't know this. They didn't know this. They didn't realize there's a spectrum. Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, everything is everything. Everything's okay. But when you're coming into a marriage, I think it's so important that you not say, well, let them figure it out for themselves. And I think that's the position I made. I'm like, he'll see for himself. Like, I'll let him be around her and he'll get to see for himself. I think you got to bring people up to speed as to the history, just like you would with any other, just like when you're courting, like when you're dating me, you're like, tell me, like, where'd you grow up? Who's your parents? Blah, blah, blah. It's the same level of conversation that needs to be had regarding children too.
I think it actually needs to be deeper.
Okay.
And the reason why I say deeper now is because, like, you're both about to step into, if you're dating to get married, you're stepping into covenant, and then now you become like a major factor in this kid's life.
Yeah.
And if the parent doesn't know like all of the, you won't know every detail, but they don't know some of the main things that's happening, they'll always think that the kid. So for a long time, I thought Anaya didn't like me, not realizing she just didn't speak a lot or just certain things. So you don't know that coming in. So you got one person thinking like fighting their own trauma and thinking that this person doesn't like me, like I came and messed up her life because she had her mom to herself. All of those things build stories that you don't realize that person has in their head now.
Yeah.
And those stories will dictate how everyone is acting around each other. So I think if you're on a date to get married and you have a kid, I think you have to put it out on the table and not let the person guess, because there's more stories now that's going around that you don't know about. And that could be, you could crush all of that up front if you want it to last. Like we're not lasting, we're moving and growing by the grace of God. But if we weren't saved, it would have probably been different. It'd probably been like, I cannot handle all of these changes and handle what I didn't know up front.
Yeah. And I think salvation, yes, by, God helping us and God being in us, but also knowing that he predestined us. Like that was something that we've had to lean on that. Like God put us together and we were very clear on that. And it's like, okay, if God's hand is on putting us together, he knew I had her. And he knew we would have Debo. You know what I'm saying?
The opposite.
And so
the opposite.
Yeah, he knew I would be in my 20s and in my 40s having a child, or in my late 30s having a child. So, yeah.
So, last question before we skedaddle. You know this stuff coming from her being a child, being an adult, you start to accept things. How does somebody carry that weight to God? Now, this scripture has been on my heart that can help too. It's Proverbs 16:3 talks about commit your ways to the Lord and your thoughts should be established. But he's basically saying every emotional weight, throw it or roll it on to God. How does a mom do that if they find out that their kid has special needs? Because I've never really saw a mom do that. Like where this emotional weight, I'm not going to carry it. It doesn't mean I'm not caring for the kid, but I'm not carrying all of the outcomes, all of the anxieties. How do you suggest a mom gets into a place with God where they decide, I'm going to do that?
The first thing that comes to mind is one time when Anaya went away to her father's for the summer. We were married. It might have been the first year we were married. And it was my first time processing when she would go with another person. So I didn't know how bad I was, and scared and like wondering where she is, how she's doing, what's happening with her. until you pointed out to me. You're like, what are you doing?
I was like, you must just not let it
go. I'll never forget that. And I was like, kind of like, what? Like, this is how I am until she comes back. And when you kind of pointed out to me, you're like, you're not sleeping, you're calling and constantly texting. Like, this is you're trying to control, like, as if though you don't trust that God is with her if she goes there. And I think I had a wake up moment from your voice, from God using you to tell me, like, hey, you kept thinking you was in control of this entire time. And sometimes I still have to get snapped out of that. You know what I'm saying? Thinking like, when they're with me, they're the best protected. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, when they're with God, they're the best protected. You know what I'm saying? Or when they're with me, they're best provided for. And it's like, yeah, actually, no, when they're with God, they're the best provided for. And I remember seeing my mom actually care for Aaliyah one time. And I was like, dang, Mom hooked that thing up. You know what I'm saying? She did it better than I could. And I'm like, so I'm not the best at everything that they need, and it's like, oh crap. Okay. So I think the best answer to that is really just recognizing that our children are gifts from God, and we are stewards over their lives until He says otherwise. Until they are old enough and capable enough of taking their journey out of the eagle's nest on their own, or we throw them out when we know that they're capable of it, right? We know they are, even when they're afraid, but we know they have the ability to. So just going back to that within ourselves and checking ourselves to remind ourselves that this is not about our world. This is about God's world. And I think that puts it into perspective, because sometimes we can become like little demigods, man. Even with our children, it's like, yo, you idolizing your children now when you think that your children, they're the only thing to you, and it's like, that's not God.
That's not God.
He doesn't say that your children are the only thing to you. You get to neglect and negate the things that He's spoken to you as well. So yeah.
The cool thing is, we witnessed. We were gonna do this episode a couple times, but we witnessed yesterday. So now I caught a plane yesterday to go to her dad's.
Yeah.
And if you've ever been in Atlanta airport, so we're from Connecticut. It's not Bradley's. Bradley's you can do it. You can like take a little nap and still be on time inside of Bradley because it's smaller. Georgia, in Atlanta, you could end up in the wrong.
They'll leave you.
You can get left, but she navigated it with some GPS cues.
Yeah, and she was kind of like, okay, do you still need to be on the phone with me? Like, she was kind of like, I'm good. She was measuring me, which is beautiful that she was considering. That's another thing. It's so much with the autism spectrum that is still researched and you still don't know about. There's a lot of theories, there's a lot of science, there's a lot of things that are being done. But there's one thing for sure. I used to stand on one side of the gamut where I said, this is a healing matter. Autism is a healing matter. I actually do not fully believe that any longer. But I do know that there are aspects of what we deem as attributes of autism that is a part of God's healing virtue, that He desires to do, and some unique abilities that He has placed within them that we might not fully understand unless we discern it by the Spirit of the living God. And so I say all that to say, she reminds me that the things that I've seen God do in her life thus far, and to hear her say, you good? Like, I'm about to go. I'm like, I would have never imagined back then when she got her diagnosis that we would be here. And that was, can I leave that nugget with you? Stop trying to predict when you just got the diagnosis or it's early on in the stage what life is going to be 10, 15 years from now.
Anxiety.
Because that's exactly what it is. And you're going to try to control that narrative to try to ease the level of strain, pain, and hurt. And that's what's going to actually create the anxiety. That's what's going to create the hardship. not even the disease or not even the diagnosis. You know what I'm saying? And so if I could tell my former self when she got diagnosed, because I used to always ask, like, what is my life going to be like? What is her life going to be like? It was because I had an ideal in my mind that I was going to cut the cord at 18 when my child turned 18, and I was going to have this newness of life because I was an empty nester. That's what I was thinking. And I'm like, the plan has been changed. I want to encourage you to just stay the course. Be the best parent, caregiver that you can be. Make the hard sacrifices. Make the hard sacrifices for your children. And just know you give all that you have and that you can give. And surely, surely God will do the rest. And so I have seen healing virtue in her life. I have seen works of her working hard in her therapies and different things that have helped her. And I also see areas of where she needs to grow. And so we're here for that in this next season of her life as well.
Cool. Lastly, Jamaica has a book club, but depending on the time that you see this episode, has a book club coming out called...
We are doing a book club reading on the book by Sarita Lyons called Church Girl. And it starts January 8th, and it meets every 2 weeks on a Thursday. It is a free book club, but we're going in because it's time to dismantle what it means when she says church girls.
And we'll make sure to put the link to join that in the show notes. Other than that, thank you guys who have subscribed. We've gotten a lot of personal texts and DMs about how this is helping you. Our whole goal is to help families like we want to be helped and are helping. Just see Christ, see the transparency of what it looks like to be in a family and cultivating these family dynamics and to do it in love. So be good, guys. We're out of here.
Peace.